Hello. Good afternoon, calm mamas. Stephanie Dickerson here. Coming to you live today to talk about the feeling of being supported. We're going to start by talking about the feeling of carrying that emotional burdenhood of motherhood. That feeling of everything being all on you. If you're tuning in now or later, if you're on the replay, let me know, #replay. And either way, let me know how this plays out to you. Do you know that feeling? What do you say to yourself in your head when it starts to feel like everything is all on you? Just gonna keep adjusting this a little bit. There we go. Does that look okay? Right in the center there. So this is something that is so huge for us mamas, is feeling like everything falls on us. We're the ones that are keeping a million balls in the air, and we're the only ones who really know what's happening, and it's all up to us. It's all up to us. And we hear this said, we hear ourselves saying this in a million ways, like, oh, well, we're women, and it just naturally falls to us. I even just saw an article about that, about childcare, and how women are just silently taking care of the children more and more, even though this burden of the kids and being at home, and of course I don't mean children the burden, but the burden of the childcare, how it's disproportionately falling on women, and how women are more and more, they're struggling with burnout, and they're feeling stressed, and I'm going to get into the details of that. And for right now, I'm just going to say again, thank you for being here with me, and let me know where you're at. Let me know what's been going on with you, and I'm really I'm excited to be here. I've got a lot coming out for you. And I kind of snuck up on you this week. I didn't give you a preview of this talk or a fancy announcement. I've just been spending a lot of time with my family in the garden and away from the computer. But in my mind, in my heart, I've been really here working on this for you. And so I'm so excited to continue to support you. And it really helps me when you respond, when you let me know what is hard for you. What's the hardest piece about this for you? What do you hear yourself saying about this topic, or about like anything you hear me speak about, and about just really what would you like motherhood to feel like, and what feels like it's between you and that. So let's take another minute to take a deep breath and to connect with you more, because I just want to dive in now to talking about that feeling of the emotional burden of motherhood being all on you. Whether it's taking care of the kids, deciding what you're going to do about their sleep situations, or what it is the kids eat, or their doctor's appointments, or the laundry, or deciding how you're going to handle the next, 4 months of summer without the usual, all the usual mechanisms of support being in place. All of those types of things just really falling on you. The whole household often. The care of the whole household, meals, what's for dinner, shopping. What are some of these balls that you're carrying? You feel like you're the only one who even knows that that's there. Likely, if your kids are small, it doesn't feel very possible for them to chip in. And maybe your partner is there and present physically, but not that present emotionally. Or maybe your partner is not around. Maybe you're a single mom, right? Maybe you don't have a lot of familial support. Maybe your husband travels for work. Maybe he's gone a bulk of the year. So it really does feel like there's just no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It is all on you. So you can just start by sort of feeling into that problem. And why is this a problem? Why is this a problem? Is summed up in one word: stress. Physiological stress, mental, emotional stress. And it feels like a ball in the pit of your stomach. It feels like tension through your shoulders. It feels like the kind of anxiety and angst and agitation in your body that has you snapping at your children. It feels like not showing up and not responding and being the mom that you want to be. It feels like not being able to be playful with your kids. And it feels like you're failing at everything. Feels like you're failing at everything. And, you have a lot of worry that you're going to let an important ball drop because of all this anxiety and not being able to think clearly, not being able to remember everything that you have to do, feeling like you're always a bit behind, and you're never getting out in front of it. It's this feeling of a million things floating in your head and just not able to make sense of them. Feeling like you're treading water, or you're just really overwhelmed, or even rather than treading water, just that feeling like you're sinking. And if you do have a partner that is there and is present, who isn't traveling all of the time, it might feel even worse as you are keeping score with your partner or just resenting your partner for how chill they can be. And it just feels so infuriating. There's this meme I saw actually a really long time ago, I think even before I knew the word meme, that was like, mom or dad says, I'm going to go to bed. And he gets up from the couch and he goes to bed, right? Mom says, okay, I'm going to go to bed now. And she gets up and she checks that the front door's locked, and she feeds the cat, and she picks up the entryway, and she walks down the hallway, and she checks on the kids' room, and then she sees the bathroom is dirty, so she cleans it up, and then, she continues walking through the house and does dishes, and so 90 minutes later, she's going to bed, right? Does that feel familiar? So, and we see how chill our husbands can be and how easily they can take care of themselves and ask for what they need. And even if they are present, it can almost feel worse than if they are, gone for work or not available. But along with this, kind of running in a parallel track, here's what else I want to name, is that very often, if we're struggling with this, if we're struggling not having the support that we want, if we look kind of underneath that track or line of thinking or right alongside it, a little bit more subtle is that we're also thinking no one else can do it as well as us. Or we're telling ourselves, it's just harder to ask for help and explain how it needs to be done than to just do it ourselves. Anybody recognize themselves in that? Oh, I'll just do it myself. I'm so much better at it. I'm so much faster at it. And we're literally pushing away help all the time. Or deep down, we also feel like we really should be able to do everything ourselves and do it perfectly and do it really, really well. Yeah. So that's an expectation that I see so many moms carrying. I see them carrying, and a lot of times that'll be a question that I ask in a coaching session, like, what's the expectation here? And sometimes it takes a while to get to it, but so many women are carrying this expectation that they should be, honestly, they should be perfect. They should be able to do everything, with a smile on their face. They should be able to do the work, speaking of memes, there's a million of them like this, and do it all in the Leave It to Beaver dress, perfectly doing everything. And the thing is that when we can't, which of course we can't do that, at least not like we think it should look like. We can't do that. And here's the kind of the underbelly of this that can be really uncomfortable, but that I'm just going to go ahead and name for you. When we can't do that, when we can't live up to that expectation, then we resent and we blame. Period. And this creates this big old energy leak, this big old hole in our bucket that just drains out our life force. Our life force just literally drains out of it. And here's the other thing. This is the truth about it that I'm just going to lay on you because I love you so much. Moms, you can't do everything that you think you can. And that's okay. It's okay. But here is the thing. It's not our circumstances that dictate how we feel. It's not our husband being gone or being physically present but not emotionally available. It's not our lack of childcare. It's not our financial precariousness. It's not any of those things. It's what we tell ourselves about them. So it's not our circumstances that dictate how we feel. It's what we tell ourselves about those circumstances. So that can be a lot to take in. And if you let yourself do that, and if you take it in and you feel the truth of it and you recognize, well, not in a state of comparison, never in a state of comparison or a state of telling yourself you're less than, but just from an expansive, a perspective of widening your perspective, if you just step back and look how different everybody's circumstances are. And you can look from an outside perspective at your circumstances and think about the people that would be so blessed that they think that your circumstances would make them happy. And here you are feeling burdened, feeling like this responsibility, feeling heavy, and everything feeling hard. So just widening that perspective. Imagining there is somewhere a single mom with 6 kids that's like making this all work and happy. And I'm not saying to compare yourself because we do that. Ooh, that's yucky. So just that stepping out and just going, it's not my circumstances that are making me feel this way. It's what I'm telling myself about them. Then, even though this is hard, yeah, you're right, Noni, it can be really hard until we get the hang of it. But once we can challenge that narrative, once we change our story, then we change our experience. It works just like that. We change our story, we change our experience. And here's the magic of it, ladies. Ooh, I get chills. Our circumstances change. Okay, that's actually how we change our circumstances. I have to share with you a little giggle. So, spontaneously ran into a neighbor on a neighborhood walk, and she's a realtor, and she was telling me how her business is booming. And I had a little smile inside because I was thinking about how many people are feeling squeezed right now and are feeling like they want to change their circumstances. And they're looking around and going like, what can I put this on? And maybe we need a new house. Maybe we need a new house. But I don't really have anything to test my theory. The next day, one of my coaching clients who's been working with me for a couple of weeks, she has this incredibly beautiful house that her husband, who's a master carpenter, built for her. I've seen photos of it. It's round. It's their dream home. They worked on it for 2 years. And she said she was really feeling squeezed, and she even found herself shopping for a house. Okay? She started thinking, maybe it's the house. And then she caught herself after only a few minutes because of the work that we've been doing together. And she started to look at the stories that she's telling herself, and she started to back away, to withdraw her focus from the rabbit hole that is trying to change her experience, and brought it inside so that she could change her story. She changed her experience. And then the challenge that she was having, the next day she posted me and messaged me, and it was around sleep. It was around sleep for her child, and that's what had her looking for this new house. Maybe that was the problem. And she messaged me, and her son hadn't been napping in months, I think. And she said, she said he was napping, and she was so surprised. And even though that's not what we were directly working on, those steps work for everything in your life, every time, 100% guaranteed. And when we do that, the thing is we can feel supported. It doesn't feel like we're carrying the burden of emotional labor. You know, we just don't carry it. We don't. Honestly, you know, that's another thing that I hear women say this all the time. Even women who've been doing this kind of work for a super long time, they'll say things like, because just like as the mom, this all falls on me, or as women, this all falls on us. And the thing is, that's just not true. It just doesn't have to be that way. So when we learn how to shift that narrative, shift that story, then we change our experience. We feel differently. And our experience changes, our circumstances change, because we're able to show up differently. Instead of keeping score with our husband and looking at everything that he's not doing, we start to see what he does, and he responds in kind. A million things can shift. We're able to change the relationship with our mom or our mother-in-law in order to receive the support that we're blocking. We're able to let go of our need for things to be a certain way so that we can start to let our children chip in, so that we can receive help, so that we can feel supported. Does this make sense? Are you tracking me here? So if we don't feel supported, if we feel like the emotional burden of motherhood is all on us, it's not our circumstances, it's not our husband, it's not his work schedule, it's not our lack of childcare, it's the story that we're telling ourselves around that that's dictating how we feel. It's keeping us locked in our circumstances, feeling like they suck. When we change our story, we change our experience, and our circumstances will change. They just do. It's like magic every single time. So that's my message here. From the big picture, this is the way towards feeling better, towards showing up to be the moms that we want to be, is changing the way we think and changing the way we feel. Getting in alignment with love, taking our focus off of the problem that we think we have. And you know, this is a place where many of us get stuck, Kimberly, is being on problem focus. This is what happens when we do self-development work from feeling like there's something wrong with us that needs to be fixed. And it happens in therapy when we go in every week and talk about the same problems over and over again. But when we shift from that perspective and learn how to create with love, how to align with the truth of who we are, then this beautiful ripple effect happens, and we start to create in love, and we start to just feel in love, to be in love with our lives, to feel supported, to have the creative responses to create the systems that make us feel supported, to have the inspired impulse to ask for help at just the right time. And that's what I teach. That's what I teach. Another definition from Ayurveda is the art of love. And that's the style of Ayurveda that I teach. Not body types, not grocery lists, not lists of what to eat or what not to eat, but how to change your thinking, to align with love, change your experience, create in love so that your circumstances change. So if this is intriguing to you, if you got some of this, came in, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation, because everybody's circumstances are different. And the It's like the anchors that are keeping us locked in, keeping us drugged down by our story. They're all different for everybody. And a lot of times, everybody who works with me knows I love a good metaphor. If you think about the anchors that are keeping you locked in, drugged down by your story, they oftentimes need somebody, you need somebody pulling with you to be able to unhook them, to unstick them so that you can get free. Yeah. I love that. So beautiful. So thank you for being here with me today. And I'm so honored. Thanks for your input. And I look forward to hearing from you more. Okay. Bye for now.